Hello and welcome to the Daily Bulletin of Into Vietnam, presented to you by VITV channel and our top stories of the day. The ANZ forecasts Vietnam GDP will grow by 5.8% in 2015. The HSBC believes Vietnam's consumers and producers will benefit from oil price light. And the MOIT says trade deficit is looming in 2015. Now, in its Global Economic Update 2015 report released in Hanoi on December the 3rd, ANZ projects Vietnam will grow by 5.8% this year, lower than the government expectation of 6.2%. The bank says Vietnam will face two major risks from the global market in 2015-2016 period.
The two uncertainties would be the commencement of the US rate hike cycle and the slowdown in China and the impact that's going to have on external demand.
However, ANZ is optimistic about Vietnamese consumption power in 2015. The bank also says the Vietnam dong US dollar exchange rate will hit 21,500 dong in Q1 or Q3 of 2015, prompting the government to adjust the rate for the first time in the year. HSBC has released the Vietnam Update macroeconomic report, which says Vietnam's will benefit from petroleum price light and forex competitive. Watch for more. Although the Vietnamese Finance Ministry on December the 1st said oil price light will cost Vietnam $47 million, the HSBC commented this light may boost the import demand and create some pressure on the dong, but the domestic demand pick up thanks to rising consumption power. The bank said, in short term, the plunge in oil prices will spur imports and erode the income from exports, but in return, Vietnamese manufacturers will cut their production costs and reduce the prices for their customers. Also in the report, HSBC said the Vietnam dong will remain stable thanks to the stable inflow of foreign direct investment into Vietnam and the $2 million trade account so far this year. The bank said Vietnam is competitive in terms of forex, as the terms of trade or TOT has improved significantly in the past few years. The Ministry of Industry and Trade submitted to the government on a 5% of GDP trade deficit plan of $6 to $8 billion in 2015 and added the deficit is inevitable, putting an end to 3 consecutive years of trade surplus since 2012. According to the ministry data, imports, particularly of import-restricted goods, rose quickly for months. In 11 months through November, Vietnam spent $119.13 billion on imports, including $1 billion on fruit and vegetables, despite being an agricultural country. For import-restricted commodities, $5.65 billion was spent to buy them, including a bulk of luxury car imports, $1 billion of mobile phones, and $17 billion of computers and spare parts. Now, Vietnam is likely to spend $1.5 billion on auto imports for the entire 2014, the highest level so far in history. The figures from the GSO showed that from January to November, total car import value reached $1.23 billion, a 100.7% on-year increase. Meanwhile, the success of the recent Vietnam Motor Show 2014, when ended late last month, and witnessed record sales, with 560 contracts signed, will also contribute to the overall car imports this month. Mr. Dominic Scriven, head of the Vietnam Business Forum's Capital Market Working Group, said Vietnam's financial market needs $5 to $10 billion to absorb shares of state enterprises to be equitized in the future. The amount needed will also depend on the size of state capital offered for the sale. According to the expert, the Vietnamese stock market has not really attracted big and long-term investment capital from foreign investors, as shown in market capitalization. That is quite more compared with other ASEAN countries, just 1/5 of the Philippines and 1/10 of Malaysia. Mr. Scriven suggested the government speed up the equitization process of state-owned enterprises and increase the proportion of state capital put up for sale, at least 30 to 40% of enterprise equity, to boost market liquidity. The Finance Ministry reported the income of state budget in 11 months officially surpassed meet 100.9% of the plan to hit 789.6 trillion dong. The sum domestic collection by the end of November reached 534.3 trillion dong, or 99.1% of the plan, while that of trading activity was at 154.57 trillion dong, higher than the set target for the period. In the review period, the Vietnamese government spent 933.57 trillion dong, rising 10.4% from the same period last year, resulting in a budget deficit of 143.97 trillion dong, or 64.3% of the deficit plan set earlier in this year. Surprisingly increasing by 50, 80, or even 100% in a very short period of time, many stocks have taken the market by big surprise with their proliferation. Heat from these shares spread and attracted tons of investors. It's easy for investors, especially careless ones, to get into the price-pushing trap of stock manipulators.
Skyrocketing price after listing is common of many new names on 2014 stock market, such as MWG, TVC, NDF, FIT, VMI, CEO, QBS, etc. Don't have to wait for too long trial time, only providing dividend information, searching profit. The shares price shot up to 120% in only 1 or 2 weeks of transaction. Therefore, many investors wonder why this shares price increased so surprisingly. Those firms don't up from others.
Tôi nghĩ là bản thân mỗi một doanh nghiệp ấy thì thường là có những cái thông tin, thường những cái để đạt cái mức tăng trưởng ấy, thì thật ra thì nó cũng không thể nào mà nó quá so với cổ tức mà phía ban lãnh đạo cam kết ra, thì thật ra thì để mà đánh giá là có tốt hay không thì cũng rất là khó. Thì thật ra thì mỗi một cái kỳ vọng của mỗi nhà đầu tư thì khác nhau thôi. Đấy. Thì chẳng hạn như là bây giờ công ty đưa ra một cái mức cổ tức mà chỉ khoảng 15 đến 20% một năm, mà giá trị cổ phiếu lại tăng lên khoảng 70-80%, thì tôi nghĩ là nhà đầu tư cũng phải cân nhắc nên xem lại.
Nếu mà những cái cổ phiếu trên mà có cái nền tảng cơ bản tốt mà cái thanh khoản nó tốt thì chúng ta có thể hiểu được. Thế tuy nhiên là những cổ phiếu, có một số cổ phiếu mặc dù cái nền tảng cơ bản của nó thì không được tốt lắm, tuy nhiên cái dòng tiền mà những cổ phiếu trên rất là mạnh.
The heat from these shares creates a great attraction to investors, prompting them to buy in whenever sales prices increase, regardless of the shares base uncommensurate with their skyrocketing prices. Hence, it will be very risky if the market manipulators sell out.
Khi mà đầu tư vào những cổ phiếu như vậy thì rủi ro cho các nhà đầu tư đến sau rất là cao, do dòng tiền đầu cơ thường vào những cổ phiếu này rất là ngắn hạn và có thể được rút ra bất cứ lúc nào. Do đó thì rủi ro giảm giá sâu rất là cao.
Nếu nhà đầu tư không hiểu biết mà tham gia đầu tư giai đoạn vừa rồi được cổ phiếu lên sàn thì thông thường là cũng có một vài trường hợp là doanh nghiệp rất là tệ nhưng giá cổ phiếu niêm yết chào sàn này rất là cao, như trường hợp của BAM vừa rồi, nó cũng gây thiệt hại khá lớn cho nhà đầu tư.
From this year's beginning, only one case of stock price manipulations were detected and fined. However, the administration sanction is only 300 million dong, much lesser than billions they could earn.
And the final part is summary of local gold prices, forex, and stock market. Well, our program has come to an end. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon at the top of the hours. Till then, bye-bye.